The solitary architects, the hidden world of the mud wasp. Misunderstood neighbors, fear is a powerful filter. For most of us, the sharp, erratic buzz of a wasp triggers an immediate instinctual reaction: duck, cover, or swat. We picture painful stings, aggressive swarms, and paper nests hanging like gray grenades from our porch roofs. But nature rarely operates in monoliths. If you look closely at the damp edges of your garden, near the puddles left by a morning rain or a dripping garden hose, you might spot a different kind of traveler. She is long, elegantly slender, and carries herself with an industrious calm. This is the mud wasp, or as she is known colloquially in backyards across the world, the muddy or mud dauber. Despite her formidable armor and threatening silhouette, she is not the backyard villain you think she is. She is a master mason, an elite hunter, and a solitary mother working against the clock to secure the next generation. Today, we step into her world to unmask the mud wasp. We will explore how they live, look at the astonishing structures they build, weigh their true danger to humans, and discover why these specialized architects might just be the best friend your garden ever had. The anatomy of an architect. To truly understand the mud wasp, we must first look at her design. Mud wasps belong to the family Sphecidae, or Cribronidae, and they look starkly different from the stocky, brightly striped yellow jackets that crash your summer picnics. The first thing you will notice is her waist. In the insect world, this structure is called the petiole. In mud daubers, the petiole is stretched to an impossible, thread-like thinness. It connects the thorax, the muscle-bound engine room of the wasp, to the gaster, which is the bulbous rear section of the abdomen. This exaggerated, stretched-out body plan gives the mud wasp a ghostly, elongated silhouette in midair. In North America and many temperate regions worldwide, you are most likely to encounter 3 distinct styling variants of this insect. First, there is the black and yellow mud dauber, clad in a striking contrast of jet black and bright, safety yellow bands on its legs and waist. It looks highly intimidating. Second is the organ pipe mud dauber. This species is a uniform, matte, or shiny black body, often accented with stark white socks on its hind legs. Finally, perhaps the most beautiful and mesmerizing of the group is the blue mud wasp. This creature sports a brilliant, iridescent metallic blue or green sheen that catches the sunlight like a polished gemstone as it hovers. Look closer at her head, and you will see powerful scissor-like jaws called mandibles. These are not used for chewing up your wooden deck like paper wasps do. Instead, they are her primary tools: her trowel, her bucket, and her vice grip. Her wings are long, translucent, smoky brown or purple, and they produce a low, distinct, vibrating buzz when she is working. It is a worker's hum, a mechanical vibration of pure focus. The architecture of mud. Where do these creatures live, and what do they live in? The answer lies entirely in their name. The mud wasp does not live in a shared colony. She does not answer to a queen, nor does she have worker subordinates to gather food for her. She is a solitary homeowner and a single mother. Her architectural process begins with a precise search for raw materials. When a female mud wasp finds a source of wet clay or mud, she drops to her knees. Using her mandibles and front legs, she scrapes together a small amount of earth, mixing it with her saliva to form a malleable, cohesive sphere of wet mud. This ball can weigh up to 1/3 of her own body weight. With her cargo secured, she flies to a carefully selected nesting site. Mud wasps look for places that are completely sheltered from the elements. Rain is the natural enemy of their architecture. Therefore, you will almost always find their nests in human-engineered spaces, underneath the deep eaves of houses, inside open garages, under bridges, within barns, or nestled behind window shutters. When she reaches the site, she spreads the mud out using her mandibles and her head as a trowel. As she works the mud into place, she vibrates her flight muscles rapidly. This creates a loud, high-pitched, singing buzz. This sonic vibration serves a vital engineering purpose. It fluidizes the mud mix, settling it uniformly, eliminating air bubbles, and packing it tightly against the surface for maximum structural integrity. Depending on the species, the final architecture varies beautifully. The black and yellow mud dauber builds a series of individual cylindrical cells that she eventually plasters over entirely with a thick, rough layer of mud, leaving behind a bumpy, unremarkable clod of dirt that looks like accidental masonry. The organ pipe mud dauber, however, is a purist. She constructs long, smooth, parallel tubes side by side. When finished, the nest looks exactly like a miniature set of pipe organs clinging to the brick or wood. Each pipe is divided internally into multiple distinct, sealed chambers. These structures are incredibly durable. Once dried by the air, they turn into a concrete hard pottery that can persist for years if left undisturbed. The solitary life cycle and the spider larder. To understand how the mud wasp lives, we have to look inside these hollow mud tubes. What happens behind those mud walls is a fascinating, dark, and highly calculated biological drama. Inside those tubes, adult mud wasps do not actually live. They do not sleep inside them or use them for shelter. The adult wasps spend their days feeding on nectar from flowers, sipping water, and sleeping hidden away in dense vegetation or deep crevices at night. The mud structure is not a home. It is a nursery, an incubator, and a living larder. Once a single mud chamber is built, the female wasp shifts roles from a peaceful mason to a ruthless, highly specialized apex predator. Her targets? Spiders. Each species of mud dauber has its own preference. Some target jumping spiders, others prefer orb weavers, and some specialize in hunting comb-footed spiders. The wasp hunts by combing through bushes, shaking spider webs to lure the occupant out, or snatching them straight from their hiding spots. When she catches a spider, she does not kill it. If she killed it, the spider's body would rot and decompose within days, ruining the food supply for her future offspring. Instead, she delivers a precise, surgical sting directly into the nerve centers of the spider's body. The venom does not end its life. It completely paralyzes the arachnid, putting it into a permanent vegetative state. The mud wasp then flies back to her nest, carrying the helpless spider beneath her body. She stuffs the paralyzed spider deep into the open mud tube. She then goes out and catches another, and another. A single mud cell may be packed with anywhere from 6 to 2 dozen paralyzed spiders, rammed tightly into the back of the chamber. Once the larder is fully stocked, the female wasp lays a single, tiny, sausage-shaped egg directly onto the abdomen of one of the spiders. She then exits the chamber, gathers a fresh ball of mud, and seals the entrance with a thick, airtight mud plug. Her maternal duties for that cell are permanently finished. She will never see her child. Inside the dark, sealed vault, the egg hatches in just a few days. Out emerges a soft, white, legless larva. Surrounded by a bounty of fresh, paralyzed living meat, the larva begins to feast. It eats the spiders one by one. Guided by an incredible evolutionary instinct, it consumes the non-essential tissues of the spiders first, keeping them alive and fresh for as long as possible, saving the vital organs for its very last meals. Within a few weeks, the spiders are entirely gone, converted into fuel. The plump larva then spins a tough, silken brown cocoon around itself inside the mud chamber. Here, it transforms. If it is summer, it will pupate and emerge as an adult in a few weeks. If it is autumn, it will enter a state of dormancy called diapause, sleeping safely inside its concrete bunker through the freezing winter winds. When the time is right, the newly formed adult wasp chews its way through the hard mud wall using its sharp mandibles, leaving behind a perfectly round exit hole, ready to fly out into the sun and repeat the eternal cycle. Gauging the danger. Given their hunting prowess and horrific nursery habits, it is completely natural to wonder, how dangerous are they to us? If you find a mud nest right next to your front door, should you be worried? The short answer is almost not at all. To understand why mud wasps are safe, you have to understand the psychology of wasp aggression. Social wasps, like yellowjackets and hornets, have a massive hive, a queen, and thousands of sisters to protect. If you get near their nest, they perceive you as an existential threat to their empire, and they will attack in coordinated, chemical-driven swarms. Mud wasps have no hive. They have no queen. They have nothing to defend but a pile of mud and spiders that they walk away from anyway. Because of this solitary lifestyle, mud wasps lack any defensive hive mentality. They are exceptionally docile, gentle, and non-aggressive insects. You can stand inches away from a female mud wasp while she is actively building her nest, and she will completely ignore you. She will not chase you. She will not hover threateningly in your face, and she will not call for backup. Can they sting? Yes, they possess a functional stinger. However, a mud wasp will virtually never sting a human unless she is pushed to an absolute life or death extreme. This means you would have to physically grab her in your bare hand, sit directly on top of her, or accidentally trap her inside your clothing to ever receive a sting. Furthermore, because their venom is highly specialized for paralyzing tiny spiders rather than driving off large mammalian predators, their sting is remarkably mild. Most people who have been stung describe the pain as far less severe than a yellow jacket or a honeybee sting, resembling a brief, localized pinprick that fades quickly without systemic issues, provided you don't have a rare, specific insect allergy. For households with children or pets, they present almost zero inherent risk. The gardener's secret weapon. Now that we know they aren't dangerous, let's ask the ultimate question: are they good for your garden? The truth is, mud wasps are a premium, all-natural biocontrol system. They are the unpaid security guards of your landscaping and vegetable patches. First, consider their adult diet. While the larvae require meat, adult mud wasps feed almost exclusively on flower nectar and plant juices. As they move restlessly from flower to flower drinking sugary fuel, they inadvertently brush against anthers and stigmas. They carry pollen grains across their hairy bodies, acting as highly effective secondary pollinators for your fruit trees, flowers, and crops. But their greatest contribution to your yard is their unmatched pest control service. As we established, a single female mud wasp requires dozens of spiders to fill just one of her nesting tubes. Multiply that by the several nests she might build over a season, and a single mud wasp can single-handedly remove hundreds of spiders from the immediate vicinity of your home. Crucially, they don't just target harmless garden spiders. Mud wasps are famous for actively hunting down and lowering the populations of spiders that do present a genuine medical danger to humans. The blue mud wasp, in particular, specializes in hunting black widows. They will boldly venture into dark crevices, woodpiles, crawl spaces, and underdeck areas where black widows thrive, dragging them out to eliminate the hazard from your living spaces. By keeping spider populations balanced, they ensure your backyard ecosystem stays healthy, stable, and free from overpopulation of crawling pests, all without you having to spray a single drop of toxic chemical insecticides. Coexistence by design. The next time you are cleaning up around your porch or garage and you spot a tube of dried mud, take a moment before you grab the broom or the power washer to knock it down. Look for the telltale signs. If there are no open holes in the tubes, it means the next generation of these gentle, industrious creatures is sleeping safely inside, waiting for the warmth of spring to emerge and help protect your garden. If the tubes are full of holes, it means the tenants have already left, leaving behind an empty clay monument to a mother's hard work. Coexisting with nature doesn't always require us to love every creepy-crawly thing that flies through our airspace, but it does invite us to understand them. The mud wasp is a profound reminder that appearance is not destiny. Behind that fierce metallic armor, that vibrating buzz, and that impossibly thin waist lies a quiet, non-aggressive neighbor. She is a dedicated craftsman molding the earth, a master hunter keeping our home safe from hazardous pests, and a quiet helper blooming life across our gardens. They aren't invaders. They are just part of the grand, interconnected design of our backyard ecosystems. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the hidden world of the mud wasp fascinating, give this video a like, leave a comment below about your own backyard encounters, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the unexpected wonders of the natural world. Until next time, keep exploring.